Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I'm Pastor Wayne Moore, the co-host.
We got a great show today.
Got two fine young men who are going to talk about helping young people develop entrepreneurships, and we're here to help them give the information and hope it'll go in the right places.
You know, Dr. Moore, a lot of people talk about starting businesses, and certainly it is easier said than done.
It is.
But one of the biggest challenges, I think, for entrepreneurs or people that want to start businesses is to have a place to do business hours.
Mm-hmm. And to make sure they have the startup capital that they need to get going in the right directions so that they won't be discouraged and be more successful at what they're trying to do.
Yes, for our viewers today, they're going to be exposed to some possible resources.
Yes.
So that if they want to start a business, they'll not only, as I understand it, and our guests can make it more plain, they'll have a place to do that and possibly have access to that startup capital you talk about.
Yeah, and that's good instruction. I mean, you can't fail if you listen to instructions, and I think these gentlemen are going to give us what we need today to make that happen.
So, of course, in the city of Indianapolis, there are a lot of businesses, you know, being a large city as we have. But there are a lot of people, I think, that want to start businesses.
Right.
There's a lot of people, and I think ownership is key.
Right.
You know, I've heard people say, well, it's good to work for other people, and that's good. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But ownership is a total different ballgame.
And then if you're going to work, why not work for yourself?
Yeah.
You know, why not try to develop something that you can establish pride, personal direction, and success in? And I think we're on target today because we do need more black businesses. We do need just entrepreneurs, period. So we're going to see what's happening with that.
So don't go anywhere. You need to stay right here. And Real People, Real Voices, refresh your cup of coffee there. Call your friends, family, relatives, and neighbors and let them know that we're on the air. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm James Jackson.
And I'm Wayne Moore.
We got a great show today. Going to help some people possibly start some businesses.
Yeah, I'm excited about the information that's going to come before us today. And I hope somebody can receive it and be helped and begin to do something different in their lives.
So we want to welcome Mr. John McDonald to the show. Thank you. I'm glad you could make it. Dr. Ivan Hicks in the house.
It's wonderful to see you again. Mentors, it's wonderful to be here on this wonderful new show. Thank you all for the opportunity early on to get on to talk about something we're passionate about, but we're excited about this real ministry that you guys are providing on the airways. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
Well, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So let's get right into it. The Grindery. Of course, people can Google that, but you guys are here to talk about it. So take it away for us and let our viewing audience know what the Grindery is all about.
Well, thegrindery.org, since it has been mentioned, is where you can find us. John McDonald is the CEO of Cloud One. He's the chair of our board. And we began about 4 years ago working with entrepreneurs, seeking to attach resources and relationships to them so they can get up and going. A lot of times people have the vision for getting a business going, getting something started, but they just don't have a person to talk to, they don't have a mentor, they don't have the necessary resources. A lot of times we find that we have great vision, we just need provision. And so that provision is not simply monetary, even though we have angel investors and venture capitalists, and we have microloan program where you can come even to First Baptist Church where we began, to our Bradley building, and on Tuesdays there's a gentleman that passes out microloans, takes folk through a process so that you can get the resources you need to get your business up and going. So that's where we started about 4 years ago in 2000. 2012. And then early on, a wonderful conversation with Willis Bright, and then George Crawford, and then John McDonald took place, and people have just galvanized around this idea that we can, in fact, as Pastor Moore indicated before, we can be self-determined. We can resource ourselves. We can make sure that we have the necessary tools to get excellent businesses up and going. And so we're appreciative for an Indianapolis community that's surrounded us to get this going.
That's great.
And use the term microloans. I'm sure our viewing audience may be familiar with small business loans, but that terminology, microloans.
Yeah, so Cloud One is fastest growing IT company in Indiana for several years in a row, according to Inc. magazine, and in getting to that position at the head of this sort of Internet of Things that is about to wash over us all and change everything about what it is that we do, we recognize that we've had tremendous advantages. We've had the benefit of mentors, business people that have been successful at building large corporations like the Exact Targets of the world and Interactive Intelligence and others. We have access to capital to invest so we can build businesses. We have support from the state. So many advantages. But those advantages don't always carry through to all of the people that have the great ideas for the next business. And it's not always in the technology space. In fact, most of the economy in our state and really our nation is driven by small businesses that employ most of the people and put most of the money in the pockets. And so how do you create an analogous system that allows somebody with an idea who wants to start up fresh and clean get going? So a microloan fits into that tapestry of capability, and really, what it is it's a low interest pot of money that can be used by a new business to buy the necessary equipment, machinery, space, whatever they might need to be able to establish their business and get going and start generating revenue. That with good luck and good management is enough to not only cover the costs of servicing that loan or the interest payments, but eventually to pay it down and this use it as a way to start. Our community desperately needs those kinds of advantages brought to their doorstep.
So that if you have someone that wants to start or is in the process of starting a lawn care business, a microloan provides you an opportunity to purchase that equipment. It could be a microloan that comes at the right time. It could be that you're not starting a business, but you're accelerating your business. We incubate and we accelerate at the Grindery. If you're in acceleration mode, you've already established a business and you need to take it to the next level. Say, for instance, you get a contract with the airport to mow all the lawns, but you only have 3 lawnmowers. You've gone through everything you need through our programming to make sure you're certified and everything is together so that but you need some capital to buy some equipment to get your business up and going. That's what a microloan is for, to make sure you have an opportunity to accelerate and to move toward an excellent business without money being that hindrance.
The microloan philosophy sounds great, but what are the qualifications for incubated type of business or a business that's already up and running? What are the qualifications? What would it take for, say I had the lawn business. Right. I get the airport contract. I only have 3 lawnmowers. Right. Tell me how the process works to get the loan.
With microloans that are available now, you would have an opportunity to purchase your equipment. Then you have an opportunity to this microloan pay back. How would you respond, John?
Yeah, I would say that we live in a capitalistic society, which is often used as an insult, right? If people say, right, and people have different relationships to that word. But in reality, what that means when you peel it all away is that businesses come about in our country by somebody having money that they put at risk, essentially, behind an idea. That idea could be fairly normal, like a lawnmower business, or it could be kind of radical, like a cloud services company. But the mechanism is the same. I have dollars that I'm going to invest primarily in you as the owner of the business because I believe in you and what it is that you're trying to do. And I may not get that money back. I hope that I do. And I hope that I get it back with interest. So the qualifications are really less about, hey, do I have a certain amount of money in my bank account? Well, if I do, I wouldn't need a loan. Or do I own a certain amount of assets that I could, rings or, cars or whatever. And more about the entrepreneur when we're talking about these microloans. What's your idea? Who are you? What's the character that you bring to the table? How comfortable do I feel risking my dollars against this thing that you're doing? That's really more of the qualifications when we're talking about these kinds of loans.
So credit, not so much.
Right.
But have you gone through the process? Have you demonstrated by the creation of a plan and the creation of a performer? Do the numbers say that the business can work?
That's right.
If that is in place, more so than
A credit score.
Yeah, than a credit score. But to be forthright, there's always a collateral component to most of the microloans because you do have to have the numbers correct, but as well there has to be something that if you have been issued a loan, people can justify, they can foreclose on. Right. That I can, if it's lawnmower equipment, I can take the lawnmower equipment back and I get something out of that. Right. And so it's harder for technological things. It's harder for if I want to create a website because you can't foreclose on a website.
Well, hold that thought right there.
Yeah.
We're going to come back in our next segment and dig deeper into what the Grinder is all about. And we don't want you to miss it because if you have an idea, we got some folk here that want to bring that idea to fruition. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Wayne Moore.
We were talking about microloans in the last segment. Got some really good information. But if you give someone who has an idea the money, but they don't have a good plan, they might not be very successful. Yeah.
That's it.
It'll be micro time.
Right.
So let's talk about the planning, because as we indicated, you can have the money there, but a lot of times people have that idea, but don't know how to get to the next step.
And that's really what differentiates the ideas that anybody has from a business that makes money and employs people. So your vision originally was, hey, let's see if we can use good business planning and good mentoring and bringing leaders of the community to come and speak about these things to help people formulate those plans. And sort of lift their economic condition as a response to that, right?
Right. So there were two ways we approached it. That you have to be able to create a plan, and you have to be able to present your plan. That in order to start a business, you don't have to have a business plan, but in order to get somebody to invest in your business, you have to have a business plan. Right. And so the creation of a business plan is extremely important, and even in terms of your development, as you are thinking about rationalizing, figuring out whether or not this business is going to be a go, you have to go through that process, that vetting, that struggle, the investigation necessary to be able to say that even beyond my passion and my vision, that this is successful, because that's what we do. It's the vision center. So whatever your vision is, we seek to develop it. We work with you. We attach resources, relationships. We attach mentors to you so that you have an opportunity to be the very best that you can be. And so in the creation of a plan, you've been able to articulate it, and you're able to then pass that off. And just as important is your ability, not just on paper, but your ability to present your idea yourself. Do you have that passion? And once again, it goes back to vision. I mean, has this been placed within you? when we began, just before we began, stood up in church and said, look, how many people are under or unemployed? And most everybody raised their hand. They're under or unemployed. And the underlying question is, how many people are really doing what God has placed you on this earth to do? And once you figure out what God has placed you on this earth to do, the African proverb is that once you find a job you love, you'll never work another day in your life. Very much the same way that once you know what your passion, what your purpose is, then if you are seeking to execute that as opposed to just get money, then yes, I do want to make money, but I want it to be based on my passion, based on that vision. So
Another thing that I think is important is how many successful plans have been brought before you guys, and how many of those plans are still rolling?
right. And so I'm glad you brought that point, because what we have discovered is that some of our best coaching and mentorship takes place in letting people know that this business is not a good business to start.
Yes.
That's
One of the things we learned, as business leaders. It was easy to say yes to help us train and mentor and give back to what it is that, the advantages, pay it forward, But once in, one of the things we recognized is that, so many people have what I would call a servant heart, right? They want to do the same thing and give back and be employed doing not just only the thing that they love, but the thing that gives to other people, right? And they may be in jobs now, by the way, where they're working for a nonprofit or a hospital or some sort of medical provider, something where they're doing that. What they really want to do is create a business around themselves that allows somebody to pay them to do this full time, right? Which is really hard to achieve, really hard to achieve. So we, our friend Willis Bright, who was formerly of the Lilly Foundation, helps, as an example, people unweave that thread to understand, do you really want to just be employed as a servant heart person, or are you trying to really create a business around this, right? Because they're very hard to create.
right. Distinctive. You have nonprofits, and you have the ability to, within a nonprofit, if that nonprofit grows to be so large, draw a salary. And so then you have the ability to do that nonprofit work. And that is different, however. That's social entrepreneurship. That's different than
Yes.
starting a business.
The concept that's kind of a mind bender is you have to have a profitable nonprofit.
Right.
Right. You need to have right. In order to have money to pay yourself, you have to have a business, even though the net result may be not to return dollars to shareholders. There still has to be a fundamental function there.
So every class for our four businesses, every class that is good for them is good for those that seek to start nonprofits, because the same principles, the same knowledge, the same paperwork even is necessary for a nonprofit as for a for-profit. And so what Willis Bright does is beforehand and even during, with those that seek to set up a nonprofit business, we have a little orientation beforehand, and we have an opportunity to have specific mentorship that allows you to think about it. And the coaching may come that, hey, this is where your passion is, but this is where you can match up your passion with what will actually produce some money. Right. And so we've had folk come in that wanted to start an insurance company, but they left out starting a healthcare agency. So that it's not just coaching them out, but it is coaching them back into something that is more purposeful and will satisfy them that much more.
And I think you all are working on a building in addition to what you already have.
Yeah, we started on Dr. Martin Luther King Street in the 2700 block, 2711 Dr. Martin Luther King Street. And we are in our second building, the 30th and Clifton Street. There's a Clifton Square right there. Right. We're in the process of working on something that is absolutely innovative with HealthNet that will create what we are tagging as a resource store, but our Grindery programming will be getting businesses up and going right there at 30th and Clifton, as well as seeking to satisfy as many needs as we can in an area that certainly needs our ministry.
Very unique approach. They're not going down on Market Street.
No.
Not going in to Keystone at the Crossing. You're not going to Park 100. No. You're staying in the hood, You know what the hood is, don't you?
I've heard.
Okay. Well, let me acquaint you to the hood.
That might be another show.
Yeah, it might be. It's where the office is going to be.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of my colleagues in the tech business that have tried and quite frankly failed to create co-working and technology incubators and other things in places that I frankly don't believe need them. This is what attracted me to this. And I'm not alone in the people that are working with Dr. Hicks on this project. That element to say of all the things we could do, right, where is the most benefit going to come from? And it's trying to help folks sort of lift their economic condition. The people that say, I want to do this for myself and want the help is exactly where you want to bring the help.
Right.
Right. So,
Well, we want to thank you for joining us today.
thank you.
Hope we can have you back at some point.
Thank you, Dr.
My brother.
All right.
Thank you. You all right?
And those of you who are watching, you can go to the website, grindery.org, for more information. And we hope that one day we'll walk in and see your smiling face and you'll say, hey, you're the guys that brought those folk on the show to talk about getting a business started. We're happy that everybody joined us today.
Yeah, I am. Thank you, Dr. Hicks. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Keep doing the good work.
So Real People, Real Voices. Again, we'd love for you to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there, and watch the show again, and watch some of the other shows that you might have missed. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.
When it comes to your money, whatever you want to get smart about, you can find at smartaboutmoney.org. Smart About Money is a free online resource. We are a non-commercial, non-profit organization dedicated to helping people just like you get information about money. For everything from how to build an emergency fund to how to deal with job uncertainty, smartaboutmoney.org has the answers you've been looking for. Smartaboutmoney.org, the easy place to start when you want to get smart about your finances.
Well, welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm Pastor James Jackson.
I'm Pastor Wayne Moore.
And our producer,
Faith McKinney.
you know, it's a good segment.
It was.
And as John indicated, it's not as easy to start a business as one might think.
No, it's definitely not, which is why I'm so glad the Grindery is around. You know, even me, I've been working towards, entrepreneurship for years, but I just can't seem to make it click. And when I heard about the Grindery, I said, that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
So I'm starting this fall.
Oh, that's
This
great.
fall.
This fall.
This fall,
Wow.
yes.
Oh, that's great. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You gonna get that micro loan?
May or may not.
Hopefully I won't need one, but, the techniques they use, and, with the Grindery, you get so much, not only assistance, but with John McDonald and Dr. Hicks, you get top-notch business advice, and you get the connections. I did my pitch a couple of months ago, my very first pitch, business pitch, and that's key,
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It sounds like the terminology that's being used, the collective impact model,
Right.
where you bring all the different institutions and agencies together to work on a specific problem.
And resources.
Yeah. And I like what you said during the interview, Dr. Moore, that this initiative was not going to be downtown or at Keystone at the Crossing or on Market Street, but right there in what you call the hood.
Yeah.
It is. It's in the hood, and I think that hopefully it will attract people who have the business ideas, but not necessarily don't necessarily have the mindset yet.
Yeah.
And this will help with the
Well,
mindset.
that's the acronym for that. The hood. Help others. Help others opportunities develop. That's what that means.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
Help
charge them for that.
others
Opportunities develop.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Right
She's
on
gonna take that and run with it.
Yeah, I got it.
the, right on the fly. So thank you all for joining us here on Real People, Real Voices. We've enjoyed you as well today. Please don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, WHMB TV 40, and become a subscriber and tell other people about what's going on here. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.